Over the past 7 days, the Castaway's home brew contest has been the talk of Taransay.
Was that rancid?
Toby and Trevor were caught sneaking a taste of Trish's seaweed wine.
I think it's the same bit.
But they might live to regret it. So, what else has been happening this week? It's now 11 months since 36 men, women and children were cast away on the remote Scottish island of Taransay. Living and working together, they grow their own crops, find their own fuel and keep their own livestock. A herd of over 100 wild deer are their only neighbours. But it's the animals closer to home that demand the greatest attention. This week, attention is focused around the stables where Lady the cow is getting ready to calf. There's a new initiative in the chicken coop.
God, it's like Easter, look!
Homemade presents have become a feature of Castaway birthday celebrations, including one that goes off with a bang.
Red. Oh, no, sorry. White.
And there's more drama as the military fly in to deal with a potentially explosive situation identified by Ben.
I really want to leave the island. I want to leave now.
During the last week of November, the Castaways have welcomed a boatload of visitors who will spend the next 2 weeks on Taransay.
I'm going to have a few bob on the blackhead, all right? Yeah. There's 2 blackheads, the one on the left.
The sheep are to be shagged this week or fortnight, and they're quite an impressive looking lot. They all have a decent set of tackle, as far as I can see, and they're a lot bigger than any of the sheep we have here.
Look at the size of that fat.
We should put a different colour on each ram's tummy so that at the end of the week we can see which ram has took most. And I said I'd run a book on deciding which one was going to be the winner. A bit juvenile, I'm afraid, but you've got to look at these kind of things when you're on an island, you know, just for a bit of fun. And my money's on one of the blackheads. Beautiful looking animals.
They mean business, basically, and they've come over here to do a job, and they're having a brief rest before taking to the hills and doing what a male sheep has to do.
But the Taransay hens haven't been doing what hens have to do. So while extra supplies of eggs have been ordered in, the wind-up wizards Pat and Colin have made their unique contribution to increasing the egg supply.
It's a nice job. It's nice, I like it. They're really friendly, they're nice little creatures. But they're my chickens. They're mine. They're my babies. I'm just about to collect the eggs and I'm hoping that we've got more because I persuaded Colin and Pat to put in lights because we were getting 7 eggs, which is pathetic. Oh God, it's like Easter, look! Oh my word! 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Outside, the gathering crowd suggests that not all is as it seems.
Oh my God, spectators! 21!
So what, they're laying in the bright side and then they're going to sleep in the dim side?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
How about the eggs? What size are they?
They're good eggs, they're good.
Let's have a look at the egg.
This is a couple.
There's a fellow egg here. Look at that one there.
We might be in danger of going overboard about the eggs here.
24th of November. 24th of November, look.
Oh yeah. Oh no!
Undaunted, Julia volunteers to help Porrig and Ben pick up some dinner. There are no supermarkets out here, and if you're after a takeaway meal, you have to catch it.
Don't know what we're doing.
Don't ask.
they approach the end of the year, we ask the castaways to reflect on their experience of working with animals.
What relationship have you developed with the cows, pigs, sheep? Is this a sexual question?
I've had quite a lot to do with animals this year. I've been in the cow group. I've also helped out on the chicken front.
I find the chickens fascinating animals.
I'm very fond of the hens, actually.
I used to keep canaries at home, and chickens are just bigger canaries, really.
I feed them all on Saturday, and I clean them out from time to time, and I clip their wings to make sure they don't jump over the fence.
But I also really like the cows. I can go up to the cows any time of the night or day and pat them, and they're very social creatures.
I miss the cows as much as I miss some of the castaways.
Looking after the cows has been a very big job because it's been ongoing all the time, and you can't stop just because the weather's nasty.
They do get to know you, and they get to like you, and they get to know the sound of your voice.
I like Misty because she's just so unassuming, and she waits till the end, and she's very patient.
I did think I would find it really strange to be eating animals that I'd seen running around the day before.
I mean, the animals have supplied us with all of our milk, all of our eggs, all of our meat. I mean, those are three pretty big staples of our diet here.
I just feel guilty, as you like, thinking, you know, I might talk to the sheep in the field and then eat them the next day. It just feels wrong somehow. So the best plan is not to get friendly with the animals you're about to eat.
Meanwhile, Ben and Porrig's catch is safely installed in the slaughterhouse.
It's quite satisfying knowing that the whole cycle's been done now. That we're about to reach the last stage of the sheep year for the tupping. But it won't be any use to us because we're not here next year.
But it'll be fun.
It'll be quite fun to watch it. It'll be more amusing than chasing them.
Normally left to graze all over the island, the ewes are rounded up for their annual encounter with the visiting rams. In Castaway terms, it's quite an event and draws an enthusiastic crowd of spectators.
Shut up, line, yes. I think he's a very courteous young bloke, that one.
Yeah. I've got a woolly sweater on.
There he is. Oh, you fancy your chances, Des?
With such an exciting and educational event taking place in the paddock, today's lesson for the Castaway children looks at animal reproduction.
So why are they doing it? Why are they doing it?
Because they're having piggyback.
No, because... But what for?
Babies.
Babies!
We were just saying that facts of life are sorted out for the children now, but unfortunately none of their dads have got quite the equipment that some of these rams have got.
Over the past few weeks, many of the castaways have been using their spare time in creative ways. Christmas isn't far off, and homemade gifts have become a feature of Taransay birthdays.
I mean, it's always a dilemma, isn't it? People might think you're a cheapskate. On the other hand, there's a lot of love and affection goes into making something, and time. It's an expression of one's sense of how one values something. So, in some ways, I favour the making of a present any day over the buying of one.
Philly, too, prefers a personal touch when it comes to presents.
I'd never have the time at home to do this, to sort of just sit and paint. And it's unique, there's not another one like it. And these are the sort of presents that people treasure because someone's put so much time in thinking about you while they're making it. And if you go out to a shop, you might have thought about that person when you bought the present. But, you know, you've handed some money over and that's that. But if you've actually spent time making something, I think that means so much more.
With birthdays a week apart, Porrig and Ben decided to have a joint celebration.
Cool. What is it? Oh, wow, Philly. Thank you. That is so brilliant.
Peter and Sheila gave me a nice one of these oak wedges that Carpenter Oak left behind, with wavy lines, a seagull, my name, and on the back, my present birthday.
It looks like one of those
Yeah, I tried to get it
little loo things.
It's my disembodied head on a little plinth. And there's a speech bubble saying, "Hi, I'm Porrick the Head, I know it all." There's 3 little buttons in front of my green-chinned face, and it says press for information.
Here, all the presents have been handmade, which means you know that people have put lots of time in. And it means that they're
lot more special. Philly gave me this nice little cravat, which I wear like this, because it was meant to be a scarf, but the wool ran out, so it's now a cravat.
So yeah, it's really nice. There's certainly things that I'm going to keep for a very long time.
How long then? 2 years, 3 years?
Until I run out of wood.
That's great. It's not my usual birthday by any means, and I'm enjoying it.
What was my favourite present? Tammy.
Felix gave me a little landing craft made out of matches.
Colin did me a painting of the schoolhouse, which was lovely, and Sheila made me this little fairy out of a peg in a box.
The best present I got was from Roger and the boys. They made me a map of Taransay cut out of wood.
Tammy gave me a little voucher for an Indian head massage.
When was your birthday?
June. When am I going to get the Indian head massage?
And that's something I know I'll keep for the rest of my life, and I'll always treasure it.
They were all so special. Yeah, really special.
All of them handmade, all of them original and really, really personal. People had put a lot of thought into them.
By far the best present I got had to be from Patrick and Colin, which was this homemade bomb.
See this piece of string that's pulling, that's hanging here, this white piece of string? That is what sets the little detonator off in there. Actually, when he pulls his chocolate bar out. And Murphy keeps pulling it, which doesn't keep helping. I don't know, Ben totally trusts us, does he? For some reason.
Should do.
Yeah, but I know, but Ben thinks sometimes we take things too far.
I wonder why.
The idea for Pat and Colin's homemade bomb came from an incident a few weeks earlier when a suspicious explosive device was discovered on the island.
We've just found something called a location marker. I repeat, that location marker, and it says in big letters, "Do not touch, notify police."
Made it this morning.
Castaway 1, Stornoway Coast Guard. You stand by on 16. We'll speak to the explosive ordnance people and come back to you with information.
Thank you very much for that. This is Castaway 1 standing by.
Right, so I'm going to check with the ordnance.
My heart went boom, bang, a bang, boom, bang, a bang when you were here. Good old Ben.
Well, we'll see what ordnance the explosives people say. They're flying.
All I'll say, Ben, is when Pat walks around with a big yellow helmet on, with Colin whispering outside the steading, I guess there's always something a little bit untoward going on.
Very authentic, don't you think? Amazing what you can do in art classes.
This is a very well-planned wind-up. I don't know how they've done it. I think they've contacted the Coast Guard before.
What are you doing?
Just protecting myself from the bomb.
Would be the best wind-up you two have done yet if it was.
It's no wind-up, believe me. I was trembling in my boots when I first saw that. I'm glad we got Ben here, because I wouldn't be able to call the Coast Guard. I was just a bag of nerves.
Colin, if this is, I'll die.
Coast Guard would have
Yeah. Oh, I hope it is.
Would it go that far, do you think? Who knows? And if it brings the Royal Navy, it's okay.
Within hours, a naval ordnance team had arrived to inspect the suspect device.
Do you know, it seems a bit excessive to send in a whole great big naval helicopter.
I only hope he's right, because, you know, if it does end up being an empty shell casing or something like that, he could well have egg on his face, and, well, me and Murphy would hate for that to happen.
With some Naval Reserve training behind him, Ben assumed the role of commanding officer while the experts took a closer look.
They have the potential to be very dangerous, so it's definitely a very good call out.
Was it?
Yes, definitely.
Well done, Colin. Well done, Colin. Phew!
Having established that it was a genuine emergency, the castaways watched from a safe distance as the unexploded device was successfully detonated. Back in Colin's pod room, plans were already in place to ensure that Ben's birthday bomb would explode with sufficient effect.
Well, half the plate contains the explosion, so It's not that much of a bang. It's only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shells in there.
It's enough to kill a pig.
Yeah.
The bomb was finally delivered to Ben at the schoolhouse party.
Should you be the unfortunate recipient of an already armed SAM, indicated by flashing blue light,
Yes, right.
and red LED, you might like to know exactly how to make it safe.
Oh, shit. It's ticking.
Okay.
Black. Red. Oh, no, sorry. White, sorry.
Are you sure it's white? White.
White does look
red. And red.
Blue light.
I'm a natural, thank you.
Having successfully defused the bomb, Ben still had to remove the booby-trapped chocolate bar.
We're pattern colour on.
He's flashing, Ben, he's still flashing! Oh my god, there's my Ben! Can I get call the Navy?
Horrig's birthday present to Ben was a song to commemorate his involvement in the real-life bomb saga weeks earlier.
It's called The Ballad of Benjamin Fogel. Patton Call found a ballistic device, and the upstanding piss artist thought would be nice to get the young resident seaman first class to call in the Navy to deal with the blast. So £10 million worth of chopper flew in, and Ben showed them round with a schoolboyish grin. The bomb was disposed of with not life lost, and Ben should have got the Victoria Cross. It's a long way from London to Taransay.
The happy mood in the schoolhouse came to an abrupt end when 20 or so deer were spotted munching on the Castaway's vegetables and damaging the fence that it's meant to keep them out of the field.
Tell Paul what's happening.
There's some deer inside the deer fence because we left the gate open earlier, foolishly. So we're trying to catch one with this fishing net, but we've got to be really quiet, and you're going to have to turn the light off in a second because they're not going to come out. We're waiting by the gate, so get ready to close the gate. Lights out, please, guys. They're trying to get out of the fence. Listen to them there. You get on the other end.
Let them come in, let them come in. Drive them in, come in.
Got it! Shit. Pork, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, I'm checking, got it. Get hold the end, Cole. Well done, Colin, that was so fast.
Well done, man.
Well played, guys.
Give me a little light with guns down here somewhere.
No, the gun's over there, Cole. Don't worry, the gun's out of the way. I moved it.
No, I'll help you.
Lose that, Pat.
Done this much, we've got to at least help.
Lose that.
No.
Ben, you don't have to do it. You don't
I
want to.
will! I helped do this. Okay. Bloody hell.
$20 called every year, Ben. From the hunters.
Yeah, just come over and shoot him anyway, Ben.
No, I know.
Well done, lads.
Yeah, well,
team effort.
Very much. The only problem is there's still some deer inside the enclosure.
Is the gate open?
No, we closed it, so
right, okay,
we've got to get them out before, because you can't eat venison with no sprouts.
It's about 11 o'clock and everyone is outside trying to catch a deer, but it's a full moon and I've just been to the stable to see if Lady's alright, and she's in labour.
It's kind of taking the shine off the birthday part. But well, we couldn't have stayed in the schoolhouse knowing there was around 20 deer inside the enclosure to start with, and having scared them so much, tonight was our last chance to get one for quite a while, and we did get one. And it's ironic and almost poetic that Lady's giving birth tonight as well. Incredibly ironic it is. He couldn't have scripted it better, that as one mother dies, another gives birth. But it's certainly a birthday I'll remember for many, many reasons. I just hope there's still some people in the schoolhouse getting drunk, because that's where I'm going, at least for an hour or two.
Ben, however, was no longer in the party mood and spent the rest of the night in his pod. the morning after the night before, and Des was out early to inspect the damage to land, crops and property.
So this is an example, Tanya. This has been eaten, yeah? It's not a particularly big cabbage, it's not a particularly healthy looking cabbage, but it's been eaten by a deer.
I really want to leave the island. I want to leave now. Only in that I've never been in a situation where I've been asked to help trap a deer. It's not something I come across that often in my life before this year anyway. But I did it.
They've become a lot braver through the year. You know, they're coming down and down, closer and closer. And, you know, in all honesty, the last 2 or 3 weeks they've been downright cheeky in that they've been jumping over the fence into the chicken area, eating the scraps from the chickens that have been lying around, into the area by the polytunnels, and completely devastated all around there because there's only a small fence into that area.
In my interpretation of being a castaway, trying to catch a deer would definitely fall into that category. That would be one of the things that we would do this year. It goes without saying. But those deer for me are one of the most special things on this island. Every day I just sit on a brow and I just watch them all, and they'd come really close to me in Inca. And I would just sit mesmerised by them because they're such beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creatures. I feel I've really betrayed them, actually.
We've been put on this island for a year and told to use our heads. So if there's something out there that you want to get in the way of food, then you haven't got a gun, you have to use what you've got in the most humane way possibly.
It just became so savage. They were charging around with the net going, ha, ha, and really, really going for it and really enjoying it. And it was shocking.
Maybe people think it was a bit barbaric, but we're here. There are animals on the island, they're wild, and we were allowed to take 6 to 8 deer. This is the first deer we've taken. We only really need 1 deer until Christmas, and that's my view on it. You know, we've killed a deer to eat, and it's as simple as that.
I'm going to eat the deer that we killed the other day. I have to. I couldn't. If I didn't, that would just be utterly disrespectful and barbaric if I didn't eat it, because I was part of it.
My reason number 5 or 7 for coming here was to address my carnivore status, but chasing and trapping and killing a wild animal was a very exciting and moving event. Unfortunately, it's not really changed me or explained away the inherent contradiction in it. I can't really understand why we're made to eat meat and yet try and live in harmony with the other beasts on the planet. And sharing this island with such lovely creatures still leaves me wanting to chase, kill and eat them. And I have no explanation for that.
It's delicious. Shame we haven't got a nice glass of wine to go with it.
It really is delightful. Fantastic. I mean, it's 11 months and no real red meat. It's just tremendous. Yeah, and well cooked.
Tender. So tender. I've only ever had venison twice before today. I've never had it stewed, but that was just yummy.
In the end, the castaways had to wait until this week for Lady the cow to have her calf, which they've named Grace. At first, all seemed well, but by the following morning, things had changed.
I discovered her because I was on earlies, and I opened the stable door, and she was down. Her head was right the way back, you know, on the side, at a very unnatural angle. It almost looked as though her neck was broken.
Can I drop 2 now, Tilly?
Okay, I'm going to lift it up. Get under.
You okay with her head?
It was very hard when Lady laid there and wouldn't get up, and at one point she just put her head down on the ground and it was as if she'd given up. And my heart went then, because she's such a stubborn cow normally. I couldn't believe it was the same cow, really. She's normally so sort of full of life, really. She's always like, oh, this is my best bit of grass, get out of my way. And she's my favourite cow. I love her very much. So when she put her head down, it was like, we've just got to try everything.
Do you actually think that a big animal that you've cared for all year is just lying there and you can't do anything for her?
Oh, lady. The net is not good in this position.
You want to spin it?
Following the advice of a local vet and notes in their livestock manual, the castaways decide to take emergency action.
Milk lameness, milk fever is a metabolic condition, mainly hypoglycemia of milk cows. There is a partial or complete loss of consciousness, paralysis of the hindquarters.
That's a girl, lady. Come on. Okay, let's move this over.
Wait, her foot's in the wrong position.
Okay, but we can move the foot.
She's going to bend this leg at the back now.
That's fine. So yeah, that's right, isn't it? Paralysis of the hindquarters. That's that leg there. And sometimes paralysis of other parts.
It's exactly it, isn't it?
Yeah. Lady has milk fever and will die unless she receives a massive dose of calcium. So far away from veterinary help and desperate to help Lady, they remember the bottles of calcium solution given to them earlier in the year. Working together and using only basic equipment, the castaways give Lady a series of calcium injections, not enough to save her life, but hopefully enough to keep her alive until the vet arrives later in the day. By the time local vet Hector Lowe arrives from the neighbouring island of Lewis, Lady is in a more stable condition. The castaways are still concerned, but there is relief that the worst has passed, and Hector is in no doubt that the castaways' efforts made all the difference.
You've done everything right. As I said, the calcium you've given us kept her going.
I feel very proud of our cow team. You know, it's me, Porrick, Tammy, Jules, Ben, Sheila. I feel extremely proud of what we've done. And everybody there, Colin and Pat, everybody. I can't name everybody because it would take forever, but everybody who helped us. You know, we all, as a community, saved that cow's life yesterday.
After one of the most stressful days of their year together, the castaways awoke a few days ago to discover better news about Lady.
I was never so happy in my life to see a cow just doing what comes naturally, just standing up.
Oh, this feeling, just this rush of relief and joy. I was so happy. So I then ran around all the pods, waking everybody up or going into room saying, quick, quick, come, she's got up, she's got up.
Lazy old cow.
Over the next 7 days, the focus will return to the home brew contest with Judgment Day imminent.
It's far too sweet.
Oh, golly gosh, that's actually nice.
We'll have the results next week, along with the Castaway Guide to looking good and feeling great, including those compost toilets.
Trev, what on earth are you doing?
Just want to flush.